Welcome. I'm your host, Rod Warner of the Gentleman's Playbook. Today, I have a very serious and exciting and a scary topic that I want to discuss. When we come back, we'll get right into it. Welcome back to the Gentleman's Playbook. I'm your host, Rod Warner. And today I have some very exciting gentlemen with me. To my left, I have George Lewis.
Hey, what's up?
I have Mr. Derek Fleming once again.
How's it going?
And I have Mr. Britt Lewis.
Good evening.
Today, we want to get into the subject and the title called Mommy Dearest. The reason why I call it Mommy Dearest is because a lot of individuals, male and females, have been dealing with emotional abuse from their mothers. This is a very sensitive topic that affect gentlemen in today, how they navigate through relationships, how they pick mates, and actually how they move through life. So, gentlemen, when you heard me, I'll start with you, Britt. When you heard me talk about this emotional abuse from mothers, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
To be able to voice it, holding it inside for all of these years, just not thinking about it, just placing it up under the mat and moving on with life, Okay, I get a chance to talk about it now.
Okay. Derek, what did you think about it when you heard this topic?
Honestly, for me, it was uncomfortable. It was a topic that I didn't know that I would want to discuss because it's a sensitive subject, right? Obviously, whenever, as a man, you're naturally protective of your mother. So regardless of the relationship, if there's emotional abuse there, you don't necessarily want to air that out. You want to keep that in. That's just the man side of us.
Right. George, what about you?
Yeah, man. So when I initially heard about the topic, it was very interesting because I was very curious as to how people would receive it. Because I think throughout my time I've had a lot of private conversations with people who have suffered some form of emotional abuse when it comes to the relationship with their mother, but it's so taboo to talk about because, like Derek said, we're very protective of our mothers.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter who you are.
Right, right. Well, first of all, I want to commend you gentlemen for stepping up and stepping out and speaking out. Derek, my question to you is, describe your atmosphere at home when you were growing up.
So for me, my atmosphere was centered around my relationship with my father, my stepmother. So my mom, after the age of 7, until I was really in my 20s, I didn't have a direct relationship with my mom. We had a few months here and there that we spent together, but for the most part, it was more, you felt neglected, right? Because you didn't have that closeness, that bond. So everything that I latched onto was centered around my father.
Okay. George, same question. Describe your atmosphere in your home growing up.
Honestly, like growing up, it was normal until my parents got divorced when I was about 7 or 8.
Okay.
Like it was really like a very fun household up until that point. Friends and family came through all the time. Even though I wasn't old enough to understand it, we were very financially stable and like things like were just always on the up and up. My parents were doing very well when they were together. After the divorce, things took a drastic shift. And I think as some of the pressures of life started to weigh in on my mother, she didn't have the outlets to properly vent. And it was just so much that she was going through that now I understand as I'm older now that I couldn't understand back then. So I don't think she was necessarily emotionally available. for a large part of my childhood after the divorce, when I was about 8. But I always do like to give my dad credit for being like just an incredible father, because he definitely stepped up and filled in that emotional piece as much as he could through like over the phone.
Okay. Britt, same question. Describe the atmosphere in your home growing up.
So I grew up in a two-parent household. My parents have been divorced since I was a baby, but it was pretty healthy on both ends until I would have to say late elementary years. My mom met someone, and she became completely engulfed in him, and so the dynamic of the household changed. Me and my older sister, we lived with my mom at the time, and it was more so about him than it was us. And we didn't complain, we were kids, but we did see the shift, and we witnessed it. And the older we got, the worse it got. So it was a lot. You know, Recently I didn't think about if it would have an effect on how I view relationships because of the relationship with my mom. But it was pretty tough. It was hard to deal with for the most part.
George, what are some of the things your mother said to you that still, well, what was some of the most effective things that she said to you that really hurt you?
Some of the most effective things. Sometimes it was not always what she said. Sometimes it was like what she did.
Okay.
Like she would get into these hyper emotional states to where she could be capable of saying or doing anything. And I understand now, like the pressure, and I guess even in this case, I'm still trying to protect her to a certain extent, ironically. But yeah, man, it was like some of the things she did, like saying some of it just boiled down to just like flat out lies, things that got me arrested and locked up in juvie. Going through that whole juvenile system with Lee Todd and Lone Star and being locked down there, being sent off to like military camps, being locked up, going through that whole process of like, especially I was like 7th, 8th grade. I want to say like she met a very successful individual who wanted to basically get me out the picture, right? And she kind of acquiesced to the fact of like sending me off to like boot camps and military programs, which really just kind of shattered all forms of trust within that relationship. Like it's not a good feeling to get out of your last period of the day and you got 2 military officers standing outside your classroom ready to put you in handcuffs and escort you to the bus and then take you off to go do this military boot camp until damn near midnight, right? Before you get dropped back off at home and got to repeat that process again.
So at that time, did you feel like an option when your mom picked the guy?
Oh, absolutely. Like it was kind of one of those things, and it's like, and being the only child and kind of not having somebody to attach myself to in terms of a sibling to kind of go through this, it was just kind of like, it was a place where I learned to be alone and I learned to be by myself and I learned to be strong by myself, but at the same time, it wasn't something that I wanted to do.
Right.
Like school was always a great place to go to for me because it was getting away from being an only child and getting away from being in an atmosphere where my mom, if she was physically present, she wasn't emotionally present. And then there was just a great deal of time where she was working 2 jobs. So it's like I only saw her on the weekends. So it's like just dealing with all the things that come along with those adolescent years. You got to deal with by yourself. You got to grow yourself up, which is how you end up in gangs, which is how you end up in the wrong environments.
Right.
Just trying to find a place to be because, I think I figured it out early on, bro. I'm not staying in the house. Like I knew a lot of cornballs who just stayed in the house. I'm gonna be outside and I'm gonna learn something by being in the mix. And if I learn something from being in the mix, I'm gonna do that. So it's interesting.
Thank you. Britt, what about you? Can you describe some of the things your mom would say that would affect you or do?
Yeah. It was the neglect more than anything. Use this for instance. My mom, hey, I'm hungry. Where's some lunch meat in there? Go fix you something to eat. A couple hours later, she's running to the store, grabbing food to cook for him. And me and my sister eating bologna sandwiches. So that was one of the things as a kid you start to notice. And because of the love of your mother, you're not trying to develop hate. You're looking past it. That's your mom, so you see the love and respect. But again, when you get older and you start seeing the lack of love and respect that she has for you, noticing it because of how she lets the other person talk to you and treat you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you show a bit of anger, you're chastised for it. And then she goes immediately to him to comfort him as if his feelings was hurt. So now that love kind of goes out the window. Now it's just pure anger.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to acting out and doing stuff like you're just not caring anymore. Because like, damn, if my mom don't care about me, this world damn sure don't care about me.
Right.
So I'm finna act a fool. So, I went through my share of trouble back then, getting locked up, dealing with the police and stuff like that. And I just didn't have a care in the world. And that was one of the main things that drove that.
Derek, when you spent time with your mom, how did you feel?
So there's two parts to it. So, I'll fast forward to when I was in middle school. I had a brief time to where she was fighting for custody, trying to get me back.
Okay.
And, during that time frame, like, I just wanted to be the best kid possible, right? Like, I didn't want to show bad side, yes, ma'am, trying to do everything, making sure, I'm making the bed in the morning when I was visiting her. And because it was just such a delicate situation in my book, right? Because I'm like, I just don't want her to leave again because I'm dealing with an abusive household, an abusive man. Like, that's obviously why she left him. So, but I'm like, I need you to rescue me out of this situation. And when that didn't unfortunately happen, I don't want to say unfortunate, but it didn't happen that way. The next time we got together I was in college. It was after my freshman year of college. And at that time, I'm a man now, right? So I've pretty much processed the way that I was raised by my father, and I had questions, and regardless of how it transpired, I'm like, man, I dealt with this abusive man. I know you did too, but I was a kid. So however you had to figure it out, you had to come get me.
Right.
So, I feel like I need to get this out to you in this setting to let you know, like, hey, what was up? Like, this shit hurt. You know what I mean? And I had to
Right.
go through X, Y, and Z, and we here now. What's next? Because we've missed a lot of years. Essentially we went from me being 7 years old to me being 19. Like, that's a lot that's happened.
Absolutely.
So it was a little bit of hurt. Like, obviously there was a lot of hurt, if I'm being honest, and there was some anger, and it wasn't necessarily just directed at her. It was like, because I view you regardless. It's almost like I idolize my mom because I had to get through the abuse and things that I was going through with my father. I needed something mentally to go to. So it was like, man, if I can just get past this, I'll be with my mom. Right. Like, I just gotta make it. I just gotta graduate, get to college. Right. But when that happened, it was like, okay, mom, now we gotta have a conversation. Like, why didn't you keep trying? Like, why didn't you get me out? So that was both. It was like that brief period when I was in middle school, and then when I was essentially a young man, it was just a lot of question marks that I needed some help figuring out.
George, how did you normally feel? Well, I ain't gonna say feel, but at times, did you feel unseen, unheard, or dismissed by your mother?
Honestly, I felt like a check.
A
I
check?
felt like a child support check, absolutely. Like a lot of things with her always came back to like money, money, money. Like I remember like there was times where like family members offered for me to like live with them and grow up around my cousins down in Houston or down in Port Arthur, and it was like, nah, like, yeah, like the argument was never like it's a bad idea for him to go. The argument was y'all not about to take this child support check, and it was like, bro, like I hate growing up here by myself. Like I love growing up around my cousins. It was a ton of us. Like, you know, like my mom is like one of 8, and then my grandparents adopted 4 more. So it's like I got 20, 30 something cousins, and I'm like the baby boy out of everybody. So it was like getting down there around them, I felt safe. I felt protected as the baby, you know, having everybody around. Come back up to Dallas, it's like, nah, fend for yourself. You back to being an only child. Because none of my cousins are in this area, you know. Everybody's out of town.
Okay.
So it was always like dealing with that. Feeling unseen. I mean, absolutely. I mean, she just wasn't present, man. I remember I quit the basketball team one year just because I just got tired of nobody being at my games. And it was like this time I was like a 3-sport athlete. Like I played basketball, football, track, like year round just to stay busy. I was like, bro, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm just go kick it in the streets. Like, at least I'm with them. And it's like, we fed each other. Like, the little stuff that, like, boys do to look out for each other. Like, we fed each other. Hey, bro, let me get that bowl of cereal, cuz. Like, and we done ran through the bowl of cereal and his mom cussing him out the next day. But she don't know. Like, he feeding the whole crew.
Britt, do you ever feel that you could ever express your true thoughts and feelings without fear to your mother?
No. And it's not even about the fear. She would shut it down. You know, to this day, our relationship is 100% better. But to express to her what I felt back then or what caused the rift, she'll shut it down, walk away entirely.
Derek, were there times you felt responsible for the emotional behavior of your mom? That you felt responsible?
I'm glad you asked me the last question.
You said what?
I thought you were about to ask me that last question. I was like, shh.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute. What, you glad I didn't?
I was like, shh.
Wait a minute. Why were you hesitant of that question?
So it brought up a moment like not being able to express. So, you know, there was a time like going, like I said, being an adult man, to where I'm like, I got to get it out. I got to say it. Now, what I'm not realizing, because I'm a young man and it's a lot of experiences that I look at now, I'm not realizing that this is still a woman. She went through an abusive relationship with my father. You know, she was pregnant with me and he was physically abusive and she had to get herself out.
Yeah.
And for a woman, that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And you learn they deal with that. That's their reality for the rest of their lives. So what she saw in me as a young man, because she missed all those years, was, you know, my dad, she saw my father. So when I'm having this emotional conversation with her, you know, when I'm in college, she's like, she don't say it right then, but she gets silent. But it's like, I gotta say this. And then the next day I come back and she's gone.
Yeah.
You know, she done moved out, locks changed, and I'm just home for the summer. I'm interning for a congressman. You know, all my stuff is packed up and it's at my auntie. I'm like, wait, hold on. I don't have anywhere to go. I'm only home for a couple months. You know, I got to figure that out. But it put her in a space to where I can't be around this because that's what she saw me as in that moment. And so, you know, to Britt's point, like that ultimately changed our relationship. We have a phenomenal relationship now, but it was like, man, I have to make sure that I tailor my conversation, you know, my delivery, my emotion when I have a conversation with my mom because it's more tied to it. Like I see myself as just Derek, you know, but she sees me as Derek, and also the man that hurt her, because I'm his son, and my mannerisms, the way I carry myself, things that I don't even recognize, she sees it in me.
Yeah. Do you guys, and this for anybody, do you guys feel like you have the motherless child syndrome?
Define that, because I'm not sure what it
Well,
is.
I'm just saying, like, you got a mother, but it's almost like you don't have a mother. Now, that's a hard question.
It's how can
I can't.
as I've gotten older, I've kind of matured and realized that like God provides for you regardless. So many of the things and many of the things I didn't receive from my mother, I'm thankful I received them from my aunts. Like I have some incredible women in my family who they see it, they saw it, and it's like that loving, nurturing side. They stepped up and they did that, and it's it's an ironic situation, like especially for me. Like my mom has a twin who unfortunately can't have kids, so she kind of adopted me as her son as well. Like I don't, and she feeds those emotional needs. So somewhat, kind of, sort of, like once I got out of the way of I can still receive these things, but they're not going to come from you. It's kind of like I grew past a lot of that, but so to a certain extent, yeah.
Guys, it's I'm a victim of it too. My thing of it is, it stemmed from my dad. He just didn't have the tools. You're only gonna be what you see. And my dad would fuss and cuss, and he act out his feelings, and he would take it out on the closest person to him, which was my mom. And when he did that, man, it just the sweet little innocent woman she was, it just and pain. After a while, you just become numb to it, and then you become nonchalant. And I think with my mom, man, I just remember like she was just the coolest shit ever. And then one day, it just went away. Like I didn't recognize her, and it baffled the hell out of me. Like, yo, how can you say some of the things that you said, and do like I just didn't understand it, and I just was very lost. And I don't know if you guys felt like that, but I felt lost. I felt abandoned. I felt abused. After a while, the abuse started feeling normal. It just started feeling normal, and I think for me as being a grown ass man, I looked at it as like, this shit is messed up. This shit is really messed up, but who do you tell? Who do you talk to about this? And then I have a twin brother. And we just like, it is what it is, and this became normal, and I'm like, this, and you don't know it. You don't know it. I mean, and so, and at times when I see my mom and dad interact, or my dad, how he coped with his pain and how he he took it out on my mom. And so I felt sorry. But then hell, when she started doing it on me, now I didn't feel sorry anymore. I was like, well, maybe he did. You did say a little this and say a little that. And when, first of all, let me say this here, man. I'm very proud of you guys for even having this conversation with me. I've asked many of individuals to come on who parents I know who are abusive to them, because we've had these conversations, and it's so very uncomfortable. When I asked you, George, what was your first reaction to come on this show at the Gentleman Podcast and talk about it? What was your first reaction?
I mean, the initial reaction was like, one, where I wanted to protect my mother, and like after that it was kind of like, bro, like I don't know, it's like you don't want to continue a cycle. It's like at some point in time you got to live your truth, and if you genuinely appreciate both the good and the bad that's happened to you, you have to embrace every aspect of it and understand how it's all shaped you into a positive person. Right. And I was like, this would be a step forward in that direction.
Right. Derek, what was your reaction when I invited you on this episode of Mommy Dears?
Yeah, like George said, I mean, right away, you're protective. your mom, and you don't want to keep rehashing, reliving. You know what I mean? Because Britt said a minute ago as well, like I'm in a good place. You know, like and things are good now. Like I've developed a skin for it. I know how to deal with the situation and where we are now, and the relationship's great. But I mean, you do a phenomenal job of like you still got to peel back the layers because it's definitely affecting every other relationship in your life. With me, obviously, my relationship, with women. So I need to. You definitely have to open it up and take a dive in and uncover some of that hurt, some of those doubts, and so. But it's uncomfortable. So when you ask me, it's like, yeah, I want to be there and support Rob, but I don't know if I really want to talk about this.
Right.
Shit.
Britt, what was your first initial?
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And when I hung up the phone, I had to think about it for a minute. I was like, wait a minute. Because I'm like, am I gonna? No, I'll be okay. I'll be all right. Well, I'm at a place where I can talk about this now. And it's not gonna affect me or anybody else. So, I was willing to do it, be able to voice how I felt. Because growing up in those two households, expressing your feelings and expressing yourself, I'm not gonna say it wasn't allowed, but it wasn't allowed. So.
Yeah, even me, even talking about it, man. I'm just like you guys. I feel I want to protect my mom. It's not that I don't love her, but I feel scared, nervous, unsure who's going to see it. But I don't want to be that person who hides. I want to be that person to heal. And again, me stepping up, I can't. I don't want to live in shame, and I don't want to live in guilt. And these things hinder us, have hindered me becoming the person who I know God wants me to be and who I want to be. And I do have reminders of that. And it's so many people have lived through this. And, guys, I just, at one hand, I feel sorry. 33% I feel, 33 and a half, I feel sorry.
Yeah.
Another 33%, I feel hurt. And the other 33%, I'd be angry. And
But that anger's a real part.
and that anger is really because I question a lot of times, like, damn, like, why me? And like, I didn't ask to be here. I didn't have nothing, and it seems like manipulation.
Oh, it is.
It is?
Like, it is.
Yeah.
It's a form of manipulation for sure.
Yeah.
Why do you say that, Derek?
Well, I have a question for you because you said something that I thought about.
Okay.
That I dealt with, like with my siblings. You said you and your twin.
Yeah.
Y'all would just say it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a cultural thing or what, but it's like we'll sit around, my brothers and sisters, and we'll laugh about, some of the abusive things that happen. And, at some point, I just remember I'm like sitting there and I got a smile on my face, but I'm like, this shit ain't funny.
Yeah.
It's not,
It's
bro.
like, is this how we go to, you know what I mean? We're letting them off the hook. Like, oh, that's just the way that they were raised and that's the way that they parented. But
Give
it's
it
not
passes.
right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
right.
I don't know if y'all experienced that as well. Like, everybody's like, it's cool. It is what it is. You here now, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I never got to experience that because, like I said, I'm an only child.
Right.
I wish I like that piece. Just having somebody to go through the abuse with is a blessing within itself.
Yeah.
It may not even seem like it, but it's like dealing with it one deep. It's just like
You don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah, it's just you and the walls.
Right.
That's it.
You can have a sibling like me and my sister were 9 years apart.
Yeah,
So she already had her life, So it was never that.
y'all didn't.
Yeah, me and my sister were close, but we didn't talk when I was little. She didn't spend time with me, so I dealt with that by myself. She dealt with that by herself.
Yeah.
I think probably about 2 years ago, we recently just sat down and had a conversation about everything and how we both just dealt with that separately.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, to your take, it is what it is. The way I looked at that all of these years, life goes on. Still had to go to football practice. You know, came home, doors was locked. You know, they had nowhere to go. Like, dang, I still got to go to work. You know, I'll figure it out afterwards. Life goes on. And finally, as an adult, I said, you know what? How to feed this with a long handle spoon. This will work itself out some kind of way. I'm an adult now. I don't have time for this. You know, and once I put that behind me, life kind of just got better. And it came back around full circle. Me and Moms had a conversation, you know, sat down. We didn't discuss what happened in the past. You know what I'm saying? We didn't discuss none of that. It was just, you know, you're my son, I love you. And the adult in me, I love you too. You know, let's move on from here.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I was going to say, it's like, because I think, man, for a moment, like, I started off with the it is what it is approach.
Yeah.
Then as I started getting into college and into like my manhood, adulthood, I started realizing the pain I was inflicting on others because of things that came back from them. And it's like I eventually had to go back and address it because it was like I didn't want to be like a hurtful partner who wasn't avoidant in relationships.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Like
real.
just shut down and just like, man, I ain't dealing with this.
Right.
You know, like my cutoff game was something serious. And then I realized as I got older and mature, your cutoff game is a sign of emotional immaturity.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have the capacity to have conversations and to deal with things. So it's like,
So let me ask you
It's
guys this
necessary.
question, and I think that you made some
good
great,
point, yeah.
valid
That's a
point. I
good
mean,
point.
hell, I had that.
yeah,
Hit on the head.
Well, you know what? Not having that connection with your mother, man, it's bad for people. You know, men or women. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, your homeboys or the chicks that you dating. You know, you be like, "Pfft, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And let me ask you guys this question though, in no particular order. What do you wish you got from your mother? Now, that's a
you know
that's a
what?
solid
Just the only thing I could really think of to say is understanding.
understanding.
It was just like, it was almost as if she just did not understand me as a person. Like just to feel understood would have went a long way. Just to feel like she was listening when I talked.
Yeah.
It was like, it's nothing worse than like pouring out your feelings and then like somebody's response is not reflective of what you just communicated.
Yeah.
It's like, just feeling understood, like there's some form of connection.
Anybody else?
Not being able to feel like you can completely be yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you're having a conversation, like I talked about earlier, like I laid it all out there. Obviously the delivery wasn't, smooth as it should be. But when you take that away from me, now with any other woman, they're not gonna really get all of me. I'm gonna just scale it back and I'm gonna give you a piece. And in doing so, you're not ever gonna truly get to know me. And I can always pull myself, like he said, being able to get out of a situation, I've become an artist. Like I've mastered that, because I'm like, I'm not gonna even allow you that opportunity to hurt me. So that understanding, absolutely, being able.
What about you?
Gosh, that is a tough question for me. I would say for years, when Tupac came out with a song, "Dear Mama," I couldn't relate. I couldn't relate, and I wanted to, but I couldn't. I felt that for my grandmother because, like you said, you had aunts. I had my grandmothers, my dad and my mom's mother. They were there for me, So I would say, if anything, I just wanted my mom to be a mom because everybody around me had that except for me. So that's what I think that's probably the best thing I can say.
Yeah.
You know what? You was talking about Tupac, Dear Mama.
Yeah.
Hell, I felt like, when Tupac, Brenda got a baby, I felt like the baby. Needs to like left it on and threw it in the trash can. That's what I felt like. I wanted validation from my mom.
That part. Yes.
Meaning what I said mattered. Do you hear me? Do you even see me, notice me? I only got noticed when I did bad shit. So guess what I did?
Yeah.
Shit, bad
Yeah,
shit.
bad shit, yeah.
Man,
That's so real.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, attention is attention to me. You know what I'm saying? At that particular point in time.
Right.
And but that it was a conflict because it didn't match who I was.
Right.
So I'm like getting in trouble. I'm like, all right, cool. And like out of all my siblings, brothers, I got my ass whooped the most. But and I mean, I put together, I would take shit apart. But see, I was curious.
Right.
But again, if they got me some attention, okay, cool. But not knowing how to articulate myself and didn't know how to speak up. And hell, when I did speak up, you know what I got? Shut up. What? So
You lucky. That's
now,
all you
yeah.
got.
So now I don't have a voice.
Yeah.
You was lucky
So
to get
now
that.
and I suffer. And when times I was supposed to speak up, I can't speak up because I don't know how. I haven't practiced. And I hear this famous, you fight these niggas on the street, not your sibling. I'm like, but I get love on the street. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brother don't get along. You know what I'm saying? We twins, but we don't get along. And, you only going to be what you see. So where's the family dynamic? We had it at one point, but shit, I don't know. Like somebody fumbled. Shit, I don't know. And so for me, validation is so important. So when I get it from friends and family members and clients and, hey man, I feel seen, I feel heard, and what I say matters. And hell, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast because I know other people suffer from it, and women suffer from it. And for my daughter, I always make her feel seen. I don't give a damn what she doing. She could be Crayoling now as a 23-year-old. I'm like, baby, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Look, I gotta say it because it's so many people suffer from it, and so many people don't have a father, and so we're gonna pause right now, guys, for the cause. But I thank you guys for sharing thus far. We're gonna pause for a cause for the General Playbook, and we're talking about Mommy Dearest, the emotional abuse from mothers. When we come back, we'll get back into it.
Join thousands of men who have already transformed their lives. With Rod Warner's The 7 S's, you get more than just advice. You get a proven system. Master the 7 essential skills to become more confident, interesting, and successful in dating. See the results for yourself. Available now in paperback and ebook.
Welcome back to the Gentleman's Playbook. I'm your host, Rod Warner, and today we're talking about Mommy Dearest, mothers who emotionally abuse their kids. It's a very sensitive and very serious topic, and I really want to get into it. These gentlemen have taken the courage to step up and actually speak out about things that have affected them even to today. Guys, being at your age that you are, George, how old are you?
35.
35. You?
44.
44?
41.
41. You guys being grown men, even now when you hear these stories and situations and even other people, maybe even women you guys have dated, how does that affect you guys?
How does it affect us with like who we dated?
Yeah, well, I mean, affect you now. Like you have been reminded of someone saying something or hearing someone's story, or maybe a woman you even talking to, or one of your homeboys, and they telling you a situation, or they may be doing that same situation, and it. How do you guys deal with that?
I think I've seen it more in some of the women that I've dated. I run for the hills. If I've seen traits of it in a woman that I'm dating, I'm out of there.
Is that what you wanted to do when you was a kid too?
No. No, not necessarily. Kid, I would try to take things head on, but being shut down, and not being able to take action or not being able to voice it, or why can't I have that, or why can't I do this, and like I said, being shut down, and then you just kind of grow when you get older, and that it affects your relationship status too, because when you're with somebody that you love and you care about, you just really don't voice it, because I couldn't voice it to my mother, I couldn't voice it to my father, so why should I voice it to you?
When in that situation, when the topic comes up about your mom, how do you respond to it?
When the topic,
With the topic, yeah, and they're like, "Oh, your mom."
Honestly, I just tell them. I don't go into detail. Tell them, we don't have the best relationship, back then. That's never really hurt anything, but now I can confidently say, and it feels good to say it. It really does. Me and my mom, we're cool.
Yeah,
we have a great relationship.
Let me ask you guys something. When y'all hear the this catchphrase, I call it a catchphrase, how he treats his mama is how he's going to treat you. What do you guys say about that?
It's not true.
Huh?
It's not true.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all. I think because like for me, like I said earlier, like I had to idolize my mom because it was a more of a situation of need for me, where I was emotionally just trying to get out of it. So in turn, what I did, I made women something that they could never be. And so if a woman stepped outside of my box of thinking of just this perfect being that I never even saw, but I needed as a kid because I didn't have that relationship, I'm quick to cut off a relationship. I went through years, decades of that, if I'm being honest. It's like, nah, okay, you're not for me. And, you're not perfect. Obviously, nobody is. You're a human being. And I'm not going to let you get close enough to hurt me.
Yeah.
To even figure out what's going on here and understanding what a relationship is, because I didn't have that growing up in my adolescence.
When you hear that, George, the same thing echoed. How he treats his mom is how he treats you. What do you say about that?
It's not true, because there's a certain amount of patience and an additional amount of grace I have to give because she's my mother. So it's like there's something there where it's like, and then there's just like that natural attachment that when dealing with somebody else, it's not true, bro. I could let you go on about your business. I don't have to give you as much time or as much grace. There's things that my mother gets out of me.
Yeah.
Like, there's things that I let her slide with that I'm not letting nobody else slide with. Yeah. So it's not.
And you know
true.
what? I do hear that echoed a lot, and I think a lot of times this is the parroting. We call it parroting because someone says it, someone else says it. You don't hear the same thing when it comes to how they treat their father. This how they treat a man. You don't hear the same thing. And these are the biases and the misinformation. Relationships are very important, but just because you have a relationship with one cousin, you may not have it with the other cousin, don't mean you treat all family members like that. And I think we should be very careful of those individuals who say those things, and also be careful when people say, if a loss of a mother, hey man, I'm sorry that you lost your mom, because everyone doesn't feel the same way about their mother. And whenever someone passes away, you don't know who they lost or what they lost. Yeah. So I think asking that question. Guys, we're going to pause for the calls right now on the Gentleman Playbook. And I want to thank you guys. When we come back, I'm bringing on a female, so you guys don't think that we're biased. We're bringing a female on the Gentleman's Playbook so you can hear her speak about Mommy Dearest when we come back.
Join thousands of men who have already transformed their lives. With Rod Warner's The 7 S's, you get more than just advice. You get a proven system. Master the 7 essential skills to become more confident, interesting, and successful in dating. See the results for yourself. Available now in paperback and ebook.
Welcome back to the Gentleman's Playbook. I'm your host, Rod Warner. And today we're talking about Mommy Dearest. Mothers who have been emotionally abusive to their kids. I brought this one lady on, and she's very sweet, very kind, love her to death. But I wanted you guys to know that it just doesn't happen with men. It also happens with women. Cherie Roebuck is her name. Welcome, Cherie.
Thank you for having me.
Please introduce the people. Tell the people who you are.
I am Cherie Roebuck. I'm a licensed massage therapist here in Arlington, Texas. I originated from Chicago. I'm now a Texas native because I've been here for more than 10 years. And I love what I do, and I'm honored to be here tonight with you guys.
Cherie, let me ask you this question. Why did you choose to come on today's episode of the Gentleman's Playbook of Mommy Dearest?
I am going through multiple layers of healing. And when you posed the question to me about my relationship with my mother, I am in that space, and I have the capacity to deal with it and face it now. So I was excited to discuss it and talk about it and just be real.
Can you tell us about growing up in a household with your mother? What kind of atmosphere was that?
I grew up in a single parent household. I was the youngest of three. I have two older brothers, and being the only girl, it was a lot. I have two protective older brothers, one 3 years, one 13 years my senior. My mother was a workaholic, but somehow she was always around. So I really couldn't do too much trouble that I really wanted to get into. But she made sure to keep my head in the books and bring no babies home too early in life. So she was glad to have a daughter, from what I was told. But being the only girl, it was very protective. I was very sheltered, very limited. Is a good word.
Can you remember a time that you think your mom was emotional abusive to you?
Yes. My mother, it didn't happen until, from what I saw, until my teen years when I started to kind of lash out. I know a lot of that came from my behavior as a child, and she didn't know how to respond. She didn't know how to raise a girl. She only had two boys. So it's like I'm this force that comes along, and I'm a mirror image of her. I'm a Taurus just like her. So that was a lot for her, I know. And some of the things that I did, she lashed out with very painful words, and it hurt a lot. So,
Do you remember the most painful word that she used?
yep, she called me a bitch.
She called you what?
She called me a bitch.
How did you respond to that?
Tears. Tears.
Hearing that now, that you had to go back and recall that most painful word, how do you feel about that now?
Now I look at it as she wasn't equipped. She didn't know. She didn't know. It bothers me when she uses the phrase, "Oh, I did the best I could." I hate that excuse, actually. And hate is a very strong word, because it's like, as an adult now, I'm looking back, and I'm about her age as I am right now. When I was that age in my teens, I don't see myself lashing out at my kids like that. I have cursed at my kids a couple of times. I have a 22 and a 18-year-old. I have cursed at them, but I've never called them out of their names.
Let me ask you this question. You made a declaration when you was a kid. I think we all do it. What declaration did you make as a kid, and in regards to your parents, your mother? Rather?
You say I made
a declaration, like you made something like, I will not, you fill in the blank when you was a kid.
Well, it was a couple of things. I wasn't going to feed my kids them black-eyed peas, okay? I wasn't going to force them to do nothing that they didn't want to do. Let's start right there with the black-eyed peas, okay? I also wasn't going to silence them. And I wasn't going to take away anything from them. A lot of things were taken away from me, of course, because of my behavior. Since I didn't do this, I lost the privilege to do that. And it's to be expected, you know. And it's transactional, this world, you know. But yeah, I wasn't going to do that with my kids at all. And they're amazing.
Yeah.
How difficult is that for you? And I'm coming back to you. How difficult this relationship with your mom? How difficult is it for you to trust people?
It's not difficult for me to trust people, but I allow people to show me who they are, and they either destroy or either build that trust. People are going to be, I expect people to do just what they're going to do. Good, bad, up, down, indifferent or not. So,
Derek, same question. How difficult is it for you to trust people dealing with your emotional abuse?
It's tough. It's tough. I don't let people in. It's like I always have just a layer of protection for myself because, I know me. I know I'm an emotional person, and I know I love hard when somebody gets, past that. But I also been hurt before, and I know that the recovery time is a lifetime.
Now, when you say love hard, define it because I hear people use that all the time. What does that mean?
Yeah, so if it's somebody that I love, that's family friend, or if it's a partner, I mean I'll go to the end of the world for them. And I'm constantly thinking of them before myself, and I want. It makes me feel good to see a person that I love happy. So I'll go above and beyond. That being said, it takes me a while to get there. I don't give it up easy, so it's always like I can come across selfish before I get to that point, because, like I said, I don't, being hurt,
Yeah.
it takes a lot to recover.
Is that really loving hard or just loving?
It's just love.
Okay.
So, all right, there you go, calling me out of it.
Okay. I mean, because people be like, love, like, how do you love soft? You know what I'm saying? That's hard to
Barely
get soft.
love, yeah.
Yeah. George, you made a decoration when you was a kid. What was the decoration you made to yourself?
I mean, it was more so like centered around like the type of household I wanted to have, because I was the only child and it was quiet at nights in my household. I always wanted to make sure I had a household where everybody felt seen, felt heard. So it's like even now, like I'm very attentive to people when they come over. I'm very much so like, hey, you need anything? You need water? Hey, man, feel comfortable. Mi casa is su casa. Like, don't feel uptight. You need to go grab something out the fridge, bro. I'm not tripping. Like, I make people very comfortable, and especially for any guests that come out of town, like I'm just very attentive to making sure that whatever I felt as a kid when I was in the house by myself feeling lonely, that I'm not making somebody else feel that when they're in my home.
Sheree, even though you had siblings in the house, when it came to you and your mom, did you ever feel alone?
yes.
Tell me, why did you feel
It
alone?
it wasn't fair. The dynamic wasn't fair. My mom let my brothers get away with bloody murder, and and of course, being the girl, it's well, you can't do that, and you shouldn't do this, and a lady doesn't carry herself that way, and this is this and this, and you holding me to this standard that you're not holding the boys to, and it's like, wait, why is that? So, and that's another part of my I couldn't do that with my kids. I was going to be fair, and I believe I have been. Very fair with my son and my daughter. I treat them with the same respect.
Do you think some mothers, Sheree, treat their sons different from their daughters?
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Because they you have mama boys, out here. And it's just like,
What does that look like, first of all, mama boy?
I'm curious to hear this.
I have my middle brother is the mama's boy of the three of us. He can do no wrong. He could burn down a house today and it'd be like, oh, well, it shouldn't have been so flammable. My mother would find a reason why to make it seem like, oh, no, it shouldn't have been, why did you spark the match? It's like, how did I spark the match? You have these mama's boys who definitely bend over backwards for their mother. They put them as a top priority when there's a woman in their life. These are grown men, I'm just saying. And they lose that level of, okay, you have to respect this woman just as you're respecting your mom as well. Of course, I know there's a different hierarchy, but still, it's a difference. You have mama's boys who stop everything and drop everything they're doing to go to their mom and run to their mom. I love Think Like a Man. And, he ran after his mom for everything, answered his mom about everything. And it's like, yeah, that's not okay. So, yeah, my mom let my brothers get away with a lot of stuff. And it was just like, she held me to a higher standard. Like, I couldn't move in with my fiance before we were married. My brothers live with women. And it was like, wait, what? But it was, yeah, you can't do that, Cherie. But yeah. Well, I didn't approve of it with your brothers either. And it's like, well, you didn't stop them and you didn't, tell them, no, you're staying here, like you did me, So I didn't like that at all.
Okay. Do you guys, when you guys are involved with someone, maybe in a romantic way, do you ever feel at times when the conflict's coming on that it's difficult for you to communicate to them?
Nah, I'm a communicator.
Yeah.
That's it. You about to get this work. Like, I'm very attuned to like articulating myself exactly what I feel and communicating it. Yeah.
Is that to a point to it doesn't matter if you hurt them or not?
I've been told that to a certain extent, like to where it's like, okay, maybe I need to soften up my verbiage, my language, because I can be very intense sometimes, especially if I'm very adamant about a certain point. I can be very intense, like not even from like a raising your voice, a yelling, but from a emphatic, like, nah, this is what that is.
How do you guys say to yourself that you don't want to be like your mother? How do you balance that out? Meaning, there's certain things about parenting, certain things you like and love about them, and certain
Absolutely.
things you're like, I don't want to be like them. How do y'all balance that out?
My mom definitely has some great traits. I'll say that, because
Yeah.
she's a social butterfly. Like some positive things about her, like some things that she's great at when it comes to working a room of people, socializing, $1 million smile, like you gravitate towards her when she's in a room. But like also having that understanding that like your outward persona and who you are in the household can be two different people. So like I love trying to be who she is when she's outside and she's having a good time mingling, but who she is when she comes home, it's like day and night.
Sure. What about you?
Oh, sorry.
Would you
Okay.
like to go?
Go ahead. Absolutely.
I removed that from my vocabulary, actually.
What's that?
I don't say that I don't want to be like my mother.
Okay.
I know that I am the best and the worst version of my mother and my father. I've accepted that. I have just accepted it. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to take what I need and leave the rest. I love my mother to life. I'm so blessed that she is still here with me on this earth. I get an opportunity to learn so many valuable lessons from her each and every day. So, yeah, I'm going to take that. And then when I see her walls start to come up and her defense mechanisms start to come up, I feel like, okay, what I'm not going to do is engage. So, this phrase, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to say, well, and I've asked open-ended questions and I'll say, hey, well, why don't you consider this? Why don't you think about that? And she'll go right into defensive mode. And it's like, well, you're trying to nitpick and you're trying to do this. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? Okay, I hear you. She needs to feel validated. She deserves to feel validated. Why not? She's earned her stripes. She's put in her work. I love her for it. I allow her to be validated. I allow her to talk. I allow her to be seen. I allow her to be heard because I didn't feel that I was being the youngest, being the baby, being the only girl. So that's how she felt in her family dynamic. She was one of 7. So it's like, okay. So the things that she was going through, I had to take into consideration. I love my aunts. I love my uncles. Bless their hearts. But they didn't treat my mother the best way. But my mom is a nurturer of the family. I love that about her. I love that she's a nurturer. I have that trait in me. I take care. I'm just like you. I take care of my people. When you come to my home, look, you get the first is the introduction. I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna serve you. Second, here the refrigerator's over there. You fix me something if you fixing you something too. It's like you have, my house was the hangout house for my children's friends. So I didn't get that, growing up. So I take what I need from my mom. She taught me to be the best. I'm the best in any job, anything that I've done. I leave the negative. So
Okay. Guys, I think a lot of this is learned behavior. The baby boomers, we're Generation X, and the baby boomers have this is learned behavior. A lot of baby boomers are hoarders. Their parents came from the Great Depression, so whatever they had to keep. So they hold it, and certain examples of that is putting a pickle jar and soaking it in water, soaping warm water to the label and scraping it off and cleaning it out and then becomes a glass. And things and situations and even people, baby boomers tend to hold on to them. And also thoughts. The unfortunate part of it is we bought what they taught. They had got a lot of beatings, and they have beat us with their fists. A lot of baby boomers, you could get away with that. Mr. Johnson whooped you down the street, and then when you come home, you got another whipping. Well, clearly whippings don't work. And they really bought into the notion, spread the rod. But does it really work? And so abuse felt normal. When you cuss your kid out or you say things like, Cherie said, her mom said to her, you could even punch your son in the chest, and it was socially accepted. You can call your daughter a bitch, like Cherie said. And if you spent money on a boy, you're a broke bitch. And if you did something stupid, you're a broke, dumb bitch. And it was socially accepted. And your mom could shame you, and they taught you only thing, just don't get pregnant. And what did some of these girls do anyway? They got pregnant. And this is the abuse that was normal. And a disease is anytime the abnormal seems normal, it points to disease. There's a TV show that started in 1984, and it was called The Cosby Show. On the first episode of The Cosby Show in 1984, Bill Cosby, who played Cliff Huxtable, and Michael Jamal Warner, who played Theo, the episode they was in Theo's room, and Bill Cosby uttered these words. He said to Theo, I brought you in this world, and I'll take you out. We've heard this echoed so many times. People, that is describing murder. And if you said that to anybody today, you would be a horrible person, not only just a parent. These things that we've heard time and time again, they still hurt. And we believed it of the R. Kelly of their time, Marvin Gaye, father, killed his son. We believed it. They ruled us with the iron fist, with the iron tongue. And out of fear, that's how they taught us. And we became scared to speak up, to speak out, and to tell our stories. This is breaking the generation curse. So we say enough. Enough. It's not saying that we don't love you. We're saying enough. If we go and understand pain, what is pain? We know pain is necessary. It's not only a punisher, but it's a teacher. But what's more powerful than pain is love. And if these grandparents who embrace us and love us and love themselves. You guys wasn't taught how to love yourselves. You weren't even taught how to love. You was taught how to obey. So now as parents, y'all taught us how to react and respond. But today, we teach our kids how to be proactive, get ahead of the things, do these things to set up. We didn't come from money, so we now have to create it for our kids and our grandkids. That's Bible. I think of it as parents, let's just leave out love and confusion. You don't have to say everything you think. We love you, but we have to stop this pain. Enough is enough. Stop it. I'm your host, Rod Warner. I want to thank everybody for coming out to the Gentleman's Playbook. Cherie Roebuck, thank you. Derek Fleming, I thank you, my brother. Big George, I thank you, my guy. We wanted to shine some light on this subject matter. We are a gentleman and a gentlewoman, but we wanted to shine some light on this. I made the executive decision to talk about mommy dearest, mothers who have been emotionally abusive to their sons and daughters. But thank you guys for tuning in, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Gentleman's Playbook. I'm your host, Rod Warner. Thank you guys for tuning in.